Operation Sindoor. Has the loss of jets been glossed over by the government of India? Should the outcome really be the real focus? Should the government be making full disclosure? Joining me now, Air Marshal Rajiv Sachdeva, former Deputy Chief of Integrated Defence Staff at IAF, and Major General Yash Moore, Defence expert. Appreciate both of you joining us. I want to come to you, Air Marshal Sachdeva. Do you believe that it's time the government made a full disclosure? Why allow this to come out in piecemeal manner, which perhaps some believe only ends up embarrassing India and not giving the full extent of the valor of our armed forces during Operation Sindoor?
Rajiv, first of all, thanks a lot for getting me in. But are you hinting that it is important that the country knows how many jets have lost? Do we know that who won the Second World War? Correct, I'm answering. Okay. You know how many aeroplanes were lost by those who won the Second World War? Over 1 lakh aeroplanes were lost by the Americans and the Europeans when they won the Second World War. So here, were we at a war? Were we in a war state? No. The aim of the government was only to punish those jinhone hamara sindoor mitaya. That's about all. And that's how the terrorist camp were attacked. If the Pakistanis have come inside during that time with their missiles and done something to us, with the DGAO as well as the CDS did say that some aeroplanes have fallen down, neither have they told us how many, nor have they told us yes or no, nor will I know or you know, nor the captain who's a defense attaché, as the DG clause was mentioning, will know how many.
No, but if this information doesn't really affect our strategic objective, should we be coming clean on it? What is there to hide?
What is there to hide? Why if at all an aeroplane went down, why did it go down? What was the tactical mistake we did? What was the advancement which they used against us? We need to work on that. How can I disclose the secret to the world? That this is what they did. That is why I lost an aeroplane and I'm working towards it. I will not like anybody to know about this fact. So let the Indian Air Force work on it and actually plug this particular void, if at all it was existing. And why will I tell anybody? Why should the Air Force tell anybody that this is what happened? So I'm doing this. Okay, you do a counter against me. No, it will be kept a secret till the time we've actually.
Point taken. Point taken. I want you to respond, Major General Yash Moore. You see, political parties, the opposition in particular, and Rahul Gandhi, among other Congress leaders, asking, how many jets did we lose? And now the defense attaché's statement also being used to suggest that the hands were tied of the armed forces. Do you believe all of this should be played out in the public domain?
I think, Rajdeep, firstly, thank you for inviting me to your platform. See, this entire thing during Op Sindoor, you're aware the manner in which the forces performed. I think the aim was very clear that we needed to hit and send a message and non-escalatory. That has been our line throughout this operation. And the CDS did hint in this interview that there were some tactical mistakes. So I'll just highlight 2-3 issues which which we need to ponder over. Firstly, did we have surprise? Were we able to deceive the enemy? Did we underestimate the enemy, if at all? Because there is no loss of aircraft, certainly in Pakistan territory. They have nothing, no proof. But if the CDS has said, the air ops also hinted towards in one of the briefings of Op Sindoor, and what the captain has said is almost on the similar lines. So I think this is actually being taken out of context. What we should understand is, in this entire thing, how was our intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance? Were our tactics, the manner in which we went on 7th and 8th to hit the camps, were they known to the enemy? How did we anticipate that? That is where the Air Force has to learn lessons.
No, but should this be, but General Moore, should all this be done behind closed doors? Can this be done in a public debate if these are sensitive issues, as the armed forces will suggest they are, of our strategic planning? Should they be done behind closed doors? Because in today's world, the moment it comes out in this manner, it will cause some kind of disquiet.
See, all these have to be, these are professional activities. These are best undertaken by professionals. Even if they, if numbers are given, it doesn't matter, because people who are going to debate on it have never worn a uniform, have never flown an aircraft. They'll never understand the dynamics. And let me tell you one thing, Rajdeep, having traveled abroad on military delegations, I want to tell you that Indian Navy selects its defense attaches with a lot of thought. They really put in a lot of deep selection as far as selection of defense attaches is concerned. So the captain, whose name unfortunately is in a controversial situation, I think he is top of the line officer. What he's saying, maybe that political word has come in, which people are using it, but I think beyond that, we should not look at it at all. It's a professional activity, but certainly what we need to look into it is how did we beat the enemy at it? What were the tactical mistakes which CDS Chauhan referred to? And what lessons have we learned? And especially intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. This has been a problem with us, whether it was Galwan, Kargil, and I don't know if here this was. Did we underestimate the enemy, his tactics? That is the issue which we need to. With the force, again, it's not in public domain. It should be debated within the forces, and certainly not for the public domain at all.
Okay, let me get Air Marshal Sachdeva then to give me a final word. Do you believe, Air Marshal, that these questions will lead to introspection? Did we get some of the tactics wrong? Or is the attitude that because the political leadership of this country doesn't want any bad news to come out, therefore even the introspection doesn't take place in the manner that it does? Or am I mistaken again as someone who's never worn a uniform?
See, we are in a democracy. We use this word political leadership very, very carefully. The political leadership of a democratic country controls the defense forces and tells them what the notion of victory and what needs to be done. The only thing is that this time when we saw the way the Prime Minister, the Raksha Mantri, the NSA and the four chiefs sitting together and deciding how to go about it, I think they've done a fantastic job. All of them have done a very good job. Yes, I don't think the CDS said that there were mistakes in tactics. He said we changed the tactics the next day. He never said there were mistakes in tactics. I remember his speech very clearly. He said we changed the tactics next day and thereafter we took them on nice and proper into 11 airfields and their air defense. So these tactics during the war keep changing. And we've seen that during Israel and Hamas and Israel and Iran. The tactics keep changing as the day progresses, as the war progresses. So it's nothing wrong in changing a tactics. But what the Air Force is doing now because of the weaknesses, both the strike must have done the SWOT analysis. I've done a SWOT analysis on the whole issue. The weaknesses will be worked upon, but they cannot come out in the open like this. Then what's the point of working on my weakness?
I think that's very well put, Air Marshal Sachdeva. I do hope, though, that the political leadership recognizes the need for that kind of solid introspection and that some of this introspection takes place in as transparent a manner, at least within the services, because it's only from mistakes that you may have made or errors that you have made that you can prepare for the future. And also, of course, while we focus on the jets, let's not forget about how many air bases we struck, what we struck, and all the gains that we made, which sometimes do not get glossed over. Air Marshal Sachdeva, General Moore, I appreciate both of you joining me here on the news today.